Hope you all have the paper with you all. Today we are discussing 2019 October paper 3.3, and we'll be discussing the first question and the third question of this paper. Right, so today to begin the paper, we have a titration first, right? So let's go to the first part of the question. It's quantitative analysis. Read through the whole method before starting any practical work, right? So that's very important because sometimes if you haven't read through the procedure, later you'll be looking for your conical flask, whether you need a volumetric, whether you need a pipette and all, like everything you can decide once you read. Like, so it's important that before you start, it's important to read the whole procedure. So where appropriate, prepare a table for your results in the space provided. So remember, for the rough titration, there should be a table, right? And another thing to note down is that the volume should be written up to 2 decimal places, right? So even if it is 0, it should be written as 0.00. Right, then it says, show your working and appropriate significant figures in the final answer to each step of your calculation, right? So we go to first question. In this experiment, you will determine the concentration of a solution of hydrochloric acid by titration with an alkali. So the hydrochloric acid concentration is unknown. So we are going to titrate with an alkali. So that is our Fa1 solution. Fa1 is a solution containing 6 gram per dm cube of sodium hydroxide. So it's given in gram per dm cube, not in mole per dm cube, but the grams per dm cube we can convert to moles. So here you can see, so in the unit gram per dm cube, what we need to change is the gram part, right? So dm cube doesn't have to change. So how do you convert grams to moles? You divide by the molar mass of sodium hydroxide. That if you need that in your calculation, you can convert the concentration. Fa2 is HCl. This solution is also used in question 2 and 3. Here, question 2 is not relevant. Methyl orange is our indicator. So you can see it's anyway orange color, right? So methyl orange in acid and in base. Give me 1 minute. Few more to admit. Right. That was like few students who just joined. So we are in question number 1. We went through like the first part. We introduced the solutions. So it's question number 1 we are discussing, those who join now. Right. So methyl orange is our indicator. Now, when it comes to methyl orange, we are a bit familiar with methyl orange. Phenolphthalein, we are familiar. And there are other indicators that we don't know the color changes. But practically, when you're doing it, right? So anyway, you are going to add the indicator to your solution and then you see the color. And when you see the color is changing, you know your endpoint is reached. So this is where your rough titration is very important. So you can experiment, right, about the endpoint and the exact color of the endpoint, right? So here we are given methyl orange. Then there are other indicators that we get in our usual Cambridge exam, bromothymol blue, all those indicators are there. But when we do the practicals, we will let you all use those indicators as well and get used to that. Right. So part A, we have method. So initially we have to do a dilution of Fa2, right? So now Fa2, we are going to pipette out 10 cm cube, right? So we have seen like some students, they are used to, 25 cm cube. Usually from the pipette, we take 25 always. But here they have bold this volume also, is only 10. And also when we use the pipette, remember we have to wash the pipette with distilled water. And then we have to wash with Fa2 again, because otherwise Fa2 get diluted. So wash with distilled water first, and then with Fa2 solution. And we are going to transfer this 10 cm cubes of Fa2 into 250 cm cubes of volumetric flask, right? Only 10. So here we are washing with the solution now. Right, so this dilution part is very important. You all can watch while we carry out dilution. So we need just 10 cm cubes. So once we take up to 15, that is 10 cm cube, because this pipette is 25 cm cube. It has that amount of capacity. So if you take up to 15, that means you have taken 10 cm cubes. So we can transfer this to the volumetric flask. Always check if there's any air bubble. Also, the other thing is this dilution part is very important, because if you pass the mark, then you have to make the solution again, right? So don't make that mistake. Otherwise, you will lose at least 3 or 4 marks, because your volume for the titration is going to be wrong, right? So we will transfer. Then we have to fill up to the mark with distilled water, and we have told like million times. Initially, you can fill fast, and then later you can use a dropper, because you might not have enough practice. Therefore, at the end, use a dropper to fill the rest of the volumetric flask. And also in paper 5, like in few days, we can start doing some paper 5s as well. That's our practical paper, like we had in O levels, we had paper 4. So something similar to that, we have paper 5. In that paper, they ask how solutions are made. So all these important points we have to mention, and especially we are using distilled water. So if they ask us to write down the method of making a certain solution, you have to mention everything, how you're gonna fill up to the mark with distilled water, and how you're gonna invert the solution to get a homogeneous solution. All that is really important. Right, so we will make up to the mark with distilled water. And I always advise for you to use a dropper like this. And it says shake the solution in the volumetric flask thoroughly. So we have to put the lid. You can see it's touching the meniscus is touching the line. So we need to invert the solution and get a homogeneous solution. Otherwise, the concentration may be different in, at the bottom, it's more concentrated. At the top, it might be less concentrated. So therefore, we mix thoroughly to get a homogeneous solution. Homogeneous means the concentration everywhere is same. So these terms you have to write down, like, use when you write down the answers in paper 5. So we have a solution. Then they ask, this is the solution of hydrochloric acid is Fa3. So whenever they say Fa3, they refer to this solution. And also remember, we have to transfer the solution into a beaker, because now we can't put the pipette into the volumetric flask. Therefore, initially we wash the beaker also, because there may be, we don't know, like there may be impurities and there may be water. So better to wash with the solution and then add. So this is our Fa3. And remember, every time when we do a dilution in our calculation, we will have to find the original concentration, right? Originally, it was a very concentrated solution. Now we diluted it. So diluted solution is the Fa3. Right. Then we have to fill the burette. Now the titration part, we have to fill the burette with Fa1. Again, when you wash the burette, we wash with water. And then since we have washed, we will wash with the solution also, because we are going to transfer Fa1 into the burette. So Fa1 is sodium hydroxide. Right. Then the things that we have to always be careful, we lift the funnel a bit and add, otherwise solution might overflow. And we fill, here we try to wash. So things you have to be careful while you watch him washing. things we have to be careful when we fill the burette is, one thing is that there may be air bubbles. Always check for the air bubbles, right? And make sure your burette is actually clean, and make sure your burette is not leaking, right? So those are things like when we wash, we can experience that. If your burette is not working properly, at that point, you know your burette is not working, you can quickly talk to the examiner and ask for a new burette or supervisor. Right. So when we start the practicals, and I want to see that you all are following the same things that we ask you all to practice. And also, usually we fill more than 0 because we want to get rid of any air bubble and everything. So it's always good to have excess amount of solution in the burette and then later fix it to 0. Right, so we will check if there's an air bubble. There's no air bubble now. Right, perfect. We are ready for the titration. And right, so the burette is fixed. Then they say pipette 25 cm cubes of Fa3. Now we're going to pipette out 25 cm cubes of Fa3 into the conical flask. For the titration, we are using 25. We have made 250 cm cube of solution, but we are just taking only 25 because no point of titrating everything. If you know the moles in 25, you can find out the moles in 250. That's a simple calculation. So therefore, we didn't have to titrate everything. Every time when we make 250, we won't use all the solution. Anyway, it's good to have excess solution with us because if we don't get the accurate readings in the first 3 attempts, we have to do more, right? So that's always good to have more solution with us. And also while he types, wash everything. So in the paper 5, they ask us to make certain solutions. So they want us to select certain capacities of these apparatus. Right? For an example, you have to mention the capacity of the volumetric flask you are going to use. Now, let's say if you are preparing a solution for a titration. So some students write 50 cm cube volumetric flask. There is 50 cm cube volumetric flask, but I think it's a bad idea to prepare only 50 cm cube of solution because for a titration, we need like to do a rough titration and at least 2 accurate type. So that we'll consume 75 cm cube anyway, right? So if you write 50 cm cube conical flask, they won't give marks. 250, 100 cm cube volumetric flask are the best. Right, now we are transferring the solution into the conical flask. And also, most importantly, we need an indicator. So in some cases, students titrate without an indicator. How can you see like the molecules of NaOH completely reacting with HCl? You can't, right? You need an indicator. Recently, when we did a practical, we saw one student titrate without an indicator. Right. So here we are adding methyl orange. You can see it's turning red. In acidic medium, it's red color. So when you have so it's they say add several drops of methyl orange. So I think until the color is properly visible, you should add, right? So like 4 drops. And the endpoint color is going to be yellow when you have NaOH in the burette. We have to go until yellow. I will explain that when we do pH graphs in A2 class under physical chemistry. So anyway, this is going to be our rough titration. We are going to start the rough titration. So the idea of the rough titration is to do it fast and then get an idea of the endpoint, right? Now we can watch closely. Now at this point, we are seeing that the yellow color is coming and going. We know like we are a bit close to the end point. And still the red color is there, means that HCl is still there. And it goes to yellow, right. Right, you can see, this is the endpoint color. If you're adding anyways from the burette, and we'll take the reading, and that's our rough titration. Everyone can note down. How much roughly? 10.6. Right, 10.6, that's the first rough titration volume. You can note it down, 10.6. So that's the rough titration, 10.6. Right, now we know it's 10.6 and we can titrate very fast until at least 9, right? Then it saves a lot of time. So acid-base titrations are not really hard, right? Not difficult. The procedure also not very difficult. So the challenging titrations are the iodometric titration. We have done a lot of iodometric titration, and the redox titration. The other one is KMnO4 titrations. Right, now the burette is fixed. We have to transfer 25 of this Fa3 into the conical flask, and then add several drops of methyl orange, and then we have to titrate. And also remember, when you have this acid-base titration in your paper, usually acid-base titrations are not hard, so the examiner might have put another question which is kind of challenging. In this paper, actually the last practical is bit challenging, so therefore it's always good to finish with great accuracy, but also fast your titration. So we transferred 25 cm cubes of Fa3. Then we will add a few drops of methyl orange. Now we have an idea, it's going to be around 10.6, so we'll be titrating a bit faster.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the paper we are doing?
2019 paper 3.3, October, November.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right, so we have come a bit closer to the end point. We'll add drop files to get the best, yes. 10 points. Again, we got 10.6. Right. 10.6. So now our first accurate titration is 10.6. So rough titration volume is also 10.6, and the first accurate titration is also 10.6. Now we will go into the third question, right? So we will take a small break. We'll give out 10 minutes, right? Because we need to put everything back to do the third experiment. So quickly note down. And for the second titration, I'll give a value. Okay. For the second accurate titration, let's assume we got 10.7. Right. So these are the this is the first titration, second titration, and this is the rough one. But you have to tabulate, like put your results in a table. For rough titration also there should be a table, don't forget that. And in the space, you have to write down the rough titration volume, accurate up to 2 decimal places, remember that, right? And also in the accurate, for the accurate titrations also you need to separate table, don't put them together. And then we will take a small break, 10 minutes enough. Then we will put everything back and start the third experiment, and then give you all time to finalize everything, calculations, and then we'll do the discussions as well, right? So we'll take a small break now and then start.